This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Teachers yet to receive a retroactive pay. The Ministry of Education is yet to pay over monies owed to disgruntled teachers, even as a deadline for doing so nears. The teachers were expecting to receive salaries and retroactive pay last week, based on a promise to them by the ministry. Jamaica's Teachers Association President Winston Smith says that teachers across the island are fuming. Mr. Smith says some teachers have received only part payment. Some would have received 4, 5, 6 thereabout. I cannot give you the exact figure, but no one has said to me that they have received the full 11 months retroactive, because the retroactive money should have been paid from April 2021 to February 2022, and then the new rate paid March, the JTA president lamented. The non-payment of salaries has reportedly affected mainly teachers paid directly by the Education Ministry. Mr. Smith has warned that if teachers do not receive payment by Thursday, the association cannot guarantee normality within the education system.
Based on what teachers would have reported to me, some they would have received the new rate. Some would have received 4, 5, 6 months thereabout. I cannot give you the exact figure, but no one has said to me that they have received the full 11 months retroactive, because the retroactive money should have been paid from April 2021 to February 2022. And then the new rate would have been paid March this month end. So no one so far has reported getting the full 11 months retroactive payment. Not a single teacher who is paid by the ministry, directly by the Ministry of Education.
2 police officers freed of corruption charges. 2 police officers who were accused of soliciting $18,000 from a shop operator who was caught selling uncustomed cigarettes in 2019 have been acquitted of breaching the Corruption Prevention Act. Constable David Yetman and Corporal Itamore Brown were freed when they appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Monday. It was alleged that during a search operation on February 1, 2019, 4 sticks of uncustomed cigarettes were found at a shop operated by the complainant. Corporal Brown was accused of soliciting $30,000 on Constable Yetman's behalf. The complainant filed a report at Hunts Bay Police Station, where the officers were searched. However, the money was not found. Following cross-examination during the trial, which began in 2020, Mr. Yetman's attorney Vincent Wellesley argued that the witnesses gave conflicting testimony about the number of cigarettes that were found and how the money was allegedly received. Mr. Brown's attorney Donahue Martin also argued that the witnesses were not credible. The cops were freed following a ruling by Chief Parish Court Judge Chester Crooks. Golding says a local government election should be called now. Opposition leader Mark Golding says it is time for Prime Minister Andrew Holness to call a local government election amid a reduction in COVID-19 cases in Jamaica and the lifting of measures under the Disaster Risk Management Act. The government postponed the election until February next year on the basis of continued high COVID-19 infections. Mr. Golding said the people should now be allowed to choose their local representatives.
We don't believe that the pretext of COVID holds water, because so soon after they passed that law, the Prime Minister got rid of the DMRA orders and opened up the place again. The reality is that democracy and unity are not incompatible things. He's saying he don't want no election in the 60th anniversary year. Why not? Why not? An election is a one-day event with a short campaign before. We don't have political violence anymore in this country, thank God, because of the efforts made by prior leaders. There's no reason why we can't have a local government election this year. And we should have it now that COVID is not over, but we are treating it as if it is over. We must go ahead and call the local government elections.
He was speaking on Sunday during a People's National Party's National Executive Council meeting in Westmoreland. Clarendon parents at the school racked with pain after 13-year-old fatally stabbed. The last words 13-year-old Omarion Hanniford reportedly cried out after he was fatally stabbed 2 days ago are shared into the memory of his mother, who is still traumatized after a seemingly routine Sunday morning was transformed into a hellish nightmare. Reports from the Mapen police are that about 8:45 a.m., Omarion was at his Marant housing scheme home in Crofts Hill, Clarendon on Sunday when his uncle, who is said to be mentally challenged, allegedly used a ratchet knife to stab him in the neck during a dispute. Omarion reportedly ran from the house and collapsed in the yard. The police were summoned and the injured teen taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. On Monday, Omarion's mother, Marina Taylor, was inconsolable as she grieved the tragic loss of the older of her 2 children. She told the news that Sunday began as a regular family day as the family performed various chores together. Taylor said that she and Omarion were about to head out to purchase items to make dinner when he went inside the house to get a shopping bag. In a split second, I hear Omarion bawl out, "Mommy, me dead." Nothing else. Bare blood, Taylor said, adding that her son ran from the house and collapsed in the yard near his grandmother's house. Omar should never dead like that. Omar is only 13 years old. Him no live no life. Him no do nobody nothing, she cried, adding that her son was well-mannered and helpful. Fitzroy Hanniford, Omarion's father, could not fathom that the father-son days of washing cars and farming had been tragically condemned to mere memories now, especially so soon. The fact that his brother has been taken into custody for his son's murder has made the grief even heavier. Hanniford said that he shared a close relationship with his accused brother, who had only come to visit the family home on Saturday night. He told the news that he was not aware of his brother suffering from any mental illness. Describing his son as very respectful, the grief-stricken father described Omarion as his right hand. "Daytime me have work to get done. Me just call upon Omar. Omar always did it to help me out," he said. Speaking of when he got the tragic news, he said, "Me turn fool," his voice breaking. Yesterday, Omarion's parents visited the Kellett High School, where they were being offered grief counseling. Several guidance counselors from institutions across Clarendon had also gathered to offer support to the grieving school community. Omarion's best friend fainted and was consoled by guidance counselors as many students wept openly. His form teacher, Tanika Stewart Green, was a picture of despair. She will now cherish the last video footage she captured of the jovial youngster last Monday as he made funny faces. An emotional Stewart Green told the news that although she heard of his passing while in church on Sunday, she was still in disbelief. The telling reality jolted her when she entered the classroom Monday morning. He was the firecracker of the class. Omarion will be greatly missed by all of us. Some of his classmates are not taking it well, she told the news. Kellett's High Principal, Texel Christie, said the entire school was in shock and mourning. "We have never experienced anything like this," he said, amid the somber mood. Christie said that the school will continue to provide counseling support where necessary. Grief overflows as a 60-year-old woman shot dead. Kimberly Palmer, 22, still recalls the final embrace of her mother, Lorna Johnson, on Glen Drive, Northern St. Andrew, hours before the 60-year-old bar operator took her last breath early Monday. Palmer had just taken a break from her studies to join her mom. "The last conversation I had with her, I said, 'Mommy, you know, say me I go out today. Me have to go bus an all-nighter again,' the daughter said in a news interview. My mother hold me by my arm and hug me up and say, 'At least your brain calm now. You can go tackle it right away.' That are the last conversation I had with my mother before them slay her." Grief and shock hovered over Glen Drive after the brutal slaying of Johnson, a businesswoman and a community matriarch who was shot meters from her gate after the close of operations. Reports are that shortly after 4 a.m., Johnson, who operates a bar, died on the spot after sustaining multiple gunshot wounds. Palmer described her mother as ambitious, loving, and generous, and hopes her death will not become just another crime statistic. "We are grateful for the assistance of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and would like them to do everything in their possible power to bring justice so that the family can get an ounce of peace, because this loss is inconsolable, insufferable," We can't bear even if someone goes down for it. We will never ever ever cope, Palmer told the news as the cops looked on. Johnson's business place is more than 100 meters from her home. Residents complained, however, that the area is not properly lit and the killers found it convenient and seemingly waylaid Johnson as she closed the shop. Lana run Robin just done and she go home, and it's like them watch her and do what them a do. The woman is so good to everybody, a resident who requested anonymity because of security concerns said. Johnson resided in Cassava Peace, St. Andrew for more than 5 decades and operated her business for close to 18 years. Palmer said her mother had no issues with anyone and would not have been concerned about walking alone in the community at that hour. Residents used the dirt to cover the blood-stained corner where she fell after being shot. Palmer, who was at home at the time of the incident, said she rushed to the scene and sat beside her mother's body. Describing the perpetrators as vicious scoundrels, Palmer expressed deep concern for the safety of her family. We feel as if right now our lives are only in God's hands. Only He can see us through, and we are begging for support from the JCF to let peace reign, Palmer said. Some residents described Johnson as a mother for Cassava Peace who believed in peace. The community can attest to her grace, her generosity. If my mother cook, me know say one time for the Sunday me a go eat, and she a cook more than 6 pounds of rice, cause who no get food or who no want food, Johnson's daughter said. Palmer said her mother, who financed the 2 kids through school, did all she could to send her children to school and wanted nothing but the best for her neighbors. The grieving daughter is pleading for stronger security presence, even a curfew in Glen Drive and the Cassava Peace, which have been plagued with gun violence for decades. The St. Andrew North Police Division up to March 20 recorded 1 fewer murder year on year. Statistics by the JCF show that 13 people have been murdered in 2022 compared to 14 in 2021. Shootings have been on the rise, with 3 more than the 11 recorded in 2021 for the period under review. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.